Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for coming. Auzu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So today is our third talk on Ramzan challenge. Will you reap the benefits? And it's about setting your goals for Ramzan. I'm going to, the whole idea of our VOTP workshops is to expand our reach. As an ummah, we need to expand it. And the more we expand it, the greater the potential we have of growing and being effective in the world. And I think we all see that we want to see a better world. So inshallah, through this journey with Ramzan there and Allah's blessings with us, inshallah, we'll grow much more spiritually and do this journey together. So if you look at life, and you start to see, what is the balance in it. So these things are being generally discussed. What is your personal development and growth? How are your finances and money? This is what the individual is talking about and thinking about and being told that put your attention on it. What are my friendships like? What is my love and romance like? What is my home and environment like? What is my health and fitness and well-being like? What is the work, career and business like? Fun and leisure, do I have enough fun and leisure? What is my family situation? What is my spirituality? So the figure on this side, you can see my screen, yes? Somebody has to answer me.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you see on the screen? What do you see?
It stopped now.
Oh,
It's not showing.
something there.
Not yet, ma'am.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
All right. So what do you see on the right side is that somebody's given themselves marks. So if you look at it, if you look at the figure on the right, this person has seen I'm okay 70% on finance and money, and to be better at it, I need to pay more attention to it. So where you see 90% on spirituality, they're very happy with that side of it, right? On the family side, they're happy. On the friendship side, they think they need to give more time to it, right? So this is how life is being looked at and seen by people. Do you agree with this plan? I need participation. I need people answering me. Please share. It's otherwise it just gets to like I'm talking to myself.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, Sister Shazia Zeb, share करें. What do you think? Is this the right way to view life?
Sorry. So the question is if I like this way?
The life has been compartmented into these 10 sections, right? And then we are told to evaluate it to see how well you're doing. Find out if you're satisfied with that area and give yourself a mark on it. And if the mark is less, that means you have to work on that area more,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So does it make sense to look at life like this? Do you think it's a good idea?
No.
Okay. Why would that be?
Because I don't see the balance here. Yeah.
But in
Something
a
missing?
sense,
I
yeah.
mean, this is that person's viewpoint,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
one they've marked it. But
Yeah.
they're looking at these areas and giving themselves a mark and saying, okay, I need to pay more attention to my health and well-being. The mark
Right.
is very low over there. I've only got 30%, and I'm not satisfied with it. So I'll give more time, energy
Right.
towards my health and well-being. So
Yes.
that way they're trying to balance their life and say that overall I should be satisfied with all of it. It should nearly be 100%. All of that should be 100%. So I'm satisfied with my life then.
Yeah.
So this is how we are looking at life generally. That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
you're right in what you're saying, that there's something out on it. There is definitely something out in compartmenting it into these 10 areas, right? It's
Yeah.
because if you look at the world, it is in a very bad situation, right? Climate change in itself, it's breaking apart. The political systems are not right. The judiciary systems are not right. The health system is suffering. Education is suffering. And people are running the world with their own self-interest, right?
Yes.
Self-interest. So
That's right.
the rich get richer, and the majority, people like
Yeah.
you, me, and people across the world, they are suffering at the cost of these rich people,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And this picture doesn't cover any of it. This is what
Right.
is being taught to an individual to look at these areas, right? So
That's true.
as responsible people, we need to make sure that we give the correct perspective to ourselves and to our family members and loved ones. So this three monkeys, it's sort of like see no evil, hear no evil,
Yeah.
and speak no,
Don't say.
right? So,
Yes.
and this is sort of translated into look not at what is contrary to propriety. And propriety means conformity to accepted standards of behavior or morals. So what's happening in society, look not at what is going against it.
Mm.
So that means you're going to have to accept what is there, right? So look not at what is contrary to propriety, listen not to what is contrary to propriety,
Yeah.
speak not what is contrary to propriety, and make no movement which is contrary to propriety.
Yeah.
So this is, are we living this kind of life? As a Muslim Ummah, we seem to have been living this kind of life. We have seem to have not done enough. That's why the world has got to be the way it is. And that's why we're all joining together and saying, well, we need to change something because it went so wrong. And, it doesn't work if we say, see no evil, hear no evil, do no evil, and speak no evil.
That's true.
Yeah. So that we need to, there's something we need to do, and that we need to realize that last time we talked about the world condition, and most of you gave it a mark of -5 or lower. So it was -6, -7, you went up to -8 to say world condition. What mark would you give it? At 10 was the doing very well, successful on the right standards. And if it was destroying itself, it was in the negative area, and everyone gave it a very low mark. So we all realize that there is something terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And for protection for ourselves, for our family members, for our community, for our ummah, we need to have awareness. The main thing is we closed our eyes. We stopped becoming aware of what was going on. So know what you have to face. If you and I know what we have to face, then we can do something about it. If we don't even have the knowledge of, what is there and what we need to do, so then we are just blindly walking through life.
Yeah.
So don't trust blindly, which we have done. So true solutions are born from awareness and true education. Alhamdulillah, we have got the book of guidance. Alhamdulillah. Now we have to bring up our awareness to the level that we can actually apply it correctly, right? So, Sister Shazia, I'm going to leave the chats to you to monitor. Yeah, I'm not looking at them, so I'm.
Okay, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
I will monitor.
Thank you. All right. So we talked about obesity last time, and this was the area we were looking at: world hunger and then obesity as well in talk two. And we saw that the female rate of obesity is much higher than the male level of obesity. And we talked about emotional eating and what would be the main reasons for female obesity being higher. But you will notice that Pakistan and Bangladesh are not on this ranking. And they're not on the ranking not because they are not obese people there. It's because the majority of people are very poor. So when you do the ranking, they don't come up to that. But the rich are obese. You know, the ones that have it, there is obesity over there. And we talked about Ramadan is for fasting, not feasting. So today we are looking at the judicial system. What do you think about the judicial system in the world today? Have you got any opinions on that? Do you think it's right? Do you think it's effective? Would you trust it? You know, what would you say?
We don't
Yeah.
see justice in world, ma'am.
Yeah.
No,
Definitely not. Yeah.
no. Where would you say you're not seeing justice? Is that any particular area or
In
individual
any
right? Or
area,
mm,
even whoever has the power or money has
mm,
the justice, and
mm,
the you can't call it justice. Basically, they have whatever they have, whatever they want to have for themselves.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
So they pay for it and get it, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So there's an index that has been created that is called the Rule of Law Index. Right? And every country is evaluated on it. So this is again an awareness that we need to see, you know, how is this rule of law index? What is it made up of? So firstly, it looks at the constraints on government powers. So is the government being made accountable for what it is doing? They look at a country for that. Is the government being made accountable for what they're doing? Number two is absence of corruption. So you'll get a higher index level, you'll be stronger on it if these things are right. If the government is accountable, if there is an absence of corruption, if it's open government, meaning it's transparent. You can go and ask a question and your question will be answered. Fundamental rights are there for people in that country. Order and security is there. You don't feel all the time scared. Something will happen. Something will happen. You know, the police will stop me and then ask me for money or something like that. So order and security is there. And regulatory enforcement of the law that is there is being applied. And civil justice is there. So if I have a disagreement with my neighbor, I can use the courts and they would be just in sorting it out. They would protect my rights and his rights as well, the neighbor's rights. And criminal justice as well. If somebody breaks the law, then how far is the criminal justice actually being applied to see that they should be, they should be punished for the breaking the law or whatever, right? So you see that the black, there's nothing black here really, but that would be a very strong rule of index. So most of it is towards the yellow-orange region, which you see is sort of not very strong. It's less than 0.5. So rule of index in the world, we see it failing. You know, it's not going in the right direction either. If you look at this chart. So we look at number of countries from year 2023 to 2024, the number of countries that have declined on this index is 81, right? And it's 61. And, you know, I think it's going to be worse in this year. You can see that there's a lot of, even in America, you can see
Mm.
Pakistan, there are a lot of countries that are just not following the law. They're just doing whatever they want to do, and you can see it going downhill, right? So does this impact on you and me, on the ordinary person, this rule of law index? Are we impacted by it?
Yeah, definitely. It will impact everyone in the world.
It will impact everybody.
Yeah.
It's
And we can see if you are like showing this chart, like it's declining, it means it's getting worse. If we don't do anything to improve
Mm.
it, it will get worse. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it will get worse. So we look at, if you look at the branches of government, we've got the legislative branch. There are three independent branches. One makes the laws, the legislative. The executive one is it carries out the law, so it implements it. It's administrating the law in society. And then the judicial one is actually taking the court into court and interpreting the law to decide whether this case is, how should it be decided on. So these three are supposed to be independent. You can see a lot of things going wrong where they're not being independent, where you're buying judges off and changing laws and that, and they are kept apart for a reason so that there is fairness in them. So even in terms of steps of a trial, you have a jury selection, you have opening statements by your defense lawyer, your prosecutor, and then you have they fight their cases. There's closing arguments, jury instructions, and then the final verdict comes through, right? So that's the process, and one of the things is it's not about justice. It's about winning, isn't it? What do you think? What is the prosecutor and the defense lawyer wanting? They just want to win the case.
Yes, true, ma'am.
They're not about, let's get to the truth of it.
Yes.
They want for, let's win this case, pay me this money, I'll make you win this case. The lawyer talks to the client like that,
Yeah.
right? So in that in itself is an outness in a system when you have that. And then you're talking about making the laws. The laws are being made by people. Laws are made by Allah Ta'ala. That is who's the creator of this world makes the laws of this world. And everything that is done has to align with that law that is given to us. So we are talking about a judge sitting there. He can have any religion, any attitude, any ethics level, and he's a judge. So is the defense lawyer and the prosecutor.
Yeah.
And then you have these 12 people in the jury that are taken from random walks of life.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing, you can't say what they believe in, how much prejudice do they have, what are their views on certain subjects. Do they really want to be part of the jury? Usually it's enforced. You can see in the diagram, even somebody's thinking, when will this be over? I wish it was a murder case. This is a bit boring, So it's like not taken, and they're like deciding the case. How much knowledge do they have? It's so random. Is it justice or is it a game of chance? The only reason I think most of us don't get involved is because God has blessed us. Haven't had to confront a situation. If, my family member had to go to trial, there's just no balance there that you can say which way will it turn out. Do you agree? It's
Yeah,
very
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult to
Yeah.
actually, the system, why do you think we've accepted it? Why have we accepted it? Is there Is there a reason we've accepted it? Is it just the same thing, like we see no evil bit? We don't confront it. We don't look at it. Is it that?
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
The monkey
The
hiding
mind-
their eyes.
Yeah, you're walking blindly through life.
Yeah.
I mean, it is something and that's why the politicians are getting away. With any justice, they're just getting away. Put their lawyers in the highest places and then get the verdict the way they want it.
Mm.
So why do you think the world systems, we talked about other systems as well, why do you think they're breaking down? Anybody else wants to have a go at, why do you think they're breaking down? Want to share your view?
Anyone? I think it's not the law of creator's law, according to the creator's law. It's human laws. That's why human made system.
Okay, all right.
What I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
And one of the reason you just mentioned, there is no justice. Of
mm,
course, if there will not be justice, we will see the results. It
yeah.
can't be like, right way. We might like, not see the result right away, but slowly, if it
Mhm,
get, it will just not will, there will no justice, we will see the results and we are seeing the results. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. And nobody is getting up to, kind of remind them or, oppose
mm.
them. So
Yeah.
they are just
Yeah, the
getting
systems
worse.
are slipping, the standards are slipping. We talked about
Yeah.
the post of a lawyer, teacher, health practitioner,
Yeah.
all definitions are getting diluted.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of work to be done, but it is possible to do it.
Yeah.
So we are saying, does justice apply in the home? Does it apply in the home? When do you have Allah's laws? You and I have Allah's laws, right? And we are administering them. We have to administer them in our home. Yeah. And we have disagreements in the home. So there is a system that works equally in the house, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 And we need to be looking at that system because, you know, the actual values develop in the home.
Yeah.
And these people, our children, grow up and go and take these positions in the world.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that are agreeing with these values. So
Yeah.
it's got to be that we as parents, as we didn't give the values, right values to our children.
Yeah.
So they're very like, it's all okay. It's like they don't have those high standards that
Yeah.
they have. So we have to, we have to have the courage and the decency to look at the wrongdoings in our house, in our family homes. We do wrong things. You and I do wrong things. Children do wrong things. Our spouses do wrong things. Our in-laws do wrong things.
Yeah.
And if we do nothing about it,
Yeah.
the child accepts that as correct.
Yeah.
So abuse is happening. We talk sometimes in prejudice terms. We talk about, the neighbor like that, or they're from that sect, so they're like that, and she thinks herself something. And we are prejudiced about people, maybe Punjabi or Sindhi or something like that. We are making those comments, and that is developing a value system in a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's true. Mm.
yeah, and inequity, it's different from inequality. It's like as an example, you have got let's say you've got a platform and you have to watch a match, right? And you let everybody stand there and to watch the match. But one person is of very low height, so he can't see over the wall. But you've given everybody equal rights to see, right? But he needs a little bench to stand on in order to get the same right. So we have to also do that to make sure that the opportunities are given, whether it's a girl or a younger brother, we should do not distinguish between those. You know, it could be in any terms. We make sure that the opportunities are there, whatever their limitations. We make sure that that inequity does not continue and we do something about it. And oppression, if it's in the home, a lot of homes do have oppression. You know, there is a lot of, a hard hand rather than a loving, nurturing way of bringing children up. And that in itself teaches what to a person? It teaches them to treat people like that. If you want something done, you do it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we also have enforced purposes. And then what happens outside when they go? They're also enforcing purposes on others.
Yeah.
Enforced purpose of religion is done quite a lot.
Yeah.
And what does that do then? It makes you run away from religion.
Yeah.
So I think we have to watch that. Watch that. Religion it's the only way to survive this planet. Islam is the only way to survive the planet. You cannot survive it without the deen of Islam. You cannot. In your heart and mind, you cannot be strong unless you have the deen of Islam. But if we turn our children away from religion, we close that door for them. So that thing, and also enforcing purpose of earn so much money or do this status or that status, that again makes them value those things and push for that when they go out into their jobs. So as parents, we're talking about this as a Ramzan thing because it gives us a chance to look at what we're doing, and to set our standards, our goals for how it should be in our homes. So we are saying high morality standards, that will be something we should be aiming for. There should be protection. Every family member should feel at home, feel safe and secure. There should be respect for every family member. And there should be a nurturing environment, not making fun, not bullying, not making them feel less than others. Tolerance, acceptance, and impartiality should be there. Yeah, so I think you see that we've covered it, that all these points are really key to bring in our homes because our home is a small model of the world. If that model is right, then we have a chance of improving outside as well. We have to first exemplify, and that is, I think, our test by Allah Ta'ala, how far are we succeeding in doing that, right? So any questions on this, or is everyone happy with it? Yeah, does it make sense? Does it feel relevant? Does it
Yeah,
feel
I just wanted to give a comment, like, the way you just explained it, like, is so, like, making me think that, we are just thinking to change the world and we can't, but, if we see we can't even make a change in our home, how we can be, how we can change the world, we can, when we can't change, make a change in our home. So it only starts with the small things. If we succeed in our small task, then we can do the bigger things. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
very important to look all these things and try to apply and make sure we are doing this in our homes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's look at a few ayats of the Quran to help us apply them, and maybe through Ramzan we can be better at justice within our home. So in Surah number 5 and 8 ayat, we are told, O you who have believed, be persistently standing firm for Allah, witnesses in justice, and do not let the hatred of a people prevent you from being just.
No.
Be just. That is nearer to righteousness And righteousness, the word used in Arabic is taqwa. And fear Allah, again, it's a consciousness of Allah. The word taqwa applies here too. And indeed, Allah is acquainted with what you do. So Allah Ta'ala is addressing us, right? The believers, right? The amanu, and that is, even the definition is it's so high for us to be believers. It's a state of security and safety and trust. So whatever is going on, internally, you've got to feel that if you're a believer. Yeah. Become quiet and tranquil in heart and mind.
Mm.
It's the, what we are aiming for. And, throughout the day, how many times do we waver from that quietness and tranquility? We do, right? Things happen, I mean, I went to the hospital today and then I get told, no, my husband's not coming back home. And my tranquility is gone. It just goes away. But Allah Ta'ala wants me to bring it back fast, not sit in it.
Mm.
It should just be, okay, it goes, and I realize, oh, Allah Ta'ala is the one. There's something better in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to bring my iman back, and the becoming quiet and tranquil in heart and mind. That is a very big aim we should all be aiming for. Become free of expectations of evil, or free of an object of dislike and hatred.
Mm.
Quite a big calling, isn't it? You
Yeah.
don't have hatred for anything.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu.
Mm.
That is what is expected from us. And we need to raise those standards within us, become trustful, faithful, confident, and manifestation of humility towards Allah Ta'ala, submission to Allah Ta'ala for anything and everything that happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that should be the state that we want to come out of through Ramzan. Shouldn't it? That's what
Yes.
we should be one of our goals, major
Yeah.
goals. And then, of course, what viewpoint should we have for justice, that we just do justice? We don't hate somebody, we don't dislike somebody because they did something wrong. We're just therefore doing the right thing with all the love and respect and care for them. Yeah.
Mm.
So let's look at another ayat. Anybody wants to share anything on the ayats and give their viewpoint, they're very welcome. So we're going to look at the next one. So this is Surah 4, 135. It said, "O you who believe, stand out firmly for justice as witnesses to Allah, even as against yourself,
Mm.
even as against yourself, or your parents, or your kin." Qariban is the word, and whether it be against rich or poor, for Allah can best protect both. Right? And follow not the lust of your hearts, lest you serve. And if you distort or decline to do justice, verily Allah is well aware with all that you do.
Mm.
So we're talking about al-hawa, and that is like, the desires. It's translated in one word in the ayat, desires. But if you look at the root meaning, is to fall steep as a bird. You go for it. You're really going for what you want. And you yearn and you fancy something. You're captivated by it. It controls you. You don't control that thing, whatever you're desiring, right?
Mm.
And you're infatuated by it, you're inspired, and your passions are really low level. Like, they're not, you just become at a very physical level. So what does it mean one shouldn't go against oneself? What does that mean? What does it mean to you? Allah Ta'ala is saying, even as against yourself, for standing
Means,
for justice. What does that mean?
yeah, means if you even want to do something wrong, you just, to fulfill your desires, you want to do wrong, or you want to favor somebody, but you know that this is not right, so you
Mm.
have to go against your desire to follow Allah's law, not your desire.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So you stand
And
firmly for justice. You just
yeah,
stand firmly for justice.
yeah,
Yeah. Even if I've done something wrong, yeah, I stand against myself then and say it
yeah,
also, right? I stand for the haq. I stand for the
yeah,
justice. If it's my brother has done something wrong,
yeah,
I don't hide everything in the truth and get,
yes,
so even in a home, we
yeah,
have to be very pure on these things,
yeah,
right?
yes,
So it's like a daily application, and it doesn't matter if somebody's rich or poor. And rich is not just in terms of money.
yeah,
Sometimes people have power and we just give them, "Oh, it's
yeah,
okay, he's got power, so I won't say anything again."
yeah, yeah,
And it's somebody might not have any knowledge but have lots of money.
yeah,
And that they would be poor in knowledge, you still stand for haq and the truth.
yes,
So that the standards of justice, I think if we all rise to them and we all cultivate them in each other and in our children, our family, I think that's where the world will change.
yeah,
It's not, nobody can go and, do a wand or something like that and that things, we've gone wrong. I mean, inshallah, by fixing ourselves first and then also getting our children to have the right values.
mm,
And they unfortunately are being bombarded with wrong values.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
And also, I was thinking sometimes when we learn, we do it, but we forget to remind others. Like we see around us, like now, I'm not talking about a big level in the world, but even in our relationships, our friends, we see they are doing wrong, but we just kind of keep quiet. It's not, I
yeah,
don't want to make her angry with me or upset with me. How
yeah.
can I say, like, we don't have courage to correct people, around us?
Yeah, it's kind of become a cultural norm as well
Yeah,
to say anything, isn't it? It's
yeah,
not considered polite or it's
yeah.
considered bad manners.
Yeah.
It's the cost we pay in terms of a society of
Mm.
declining morality standards because
Yes.
we don't speak the truth.
Yeah.
That other thing is just getting more power and power, which is
Yeah.
wrong. So
Yeah.
we do need to have the courage to say what is right.
Mm.
And on this ayat, we see that, indeed Allah orders justice. It's not an option. It's not an option, it's an order. And good conduct and giving to relatives and forbids immorality and bad conduct and oppression. He admonishes you that perhaps you will be reminded. So al-fahsha, if you look at it, it's excessiveness. There's a lot of excessiveness in Ramzan that is occurring. Do you agree with that? It's a little bit, it falls into immorality, excessiveness. Having, spending so much,
Yeah.
too much,
Yeah.
too many social gatherings
Yeah.
from the purpose of Ramzan,
Yeah.
you know. So it needs to be looked at from that viewpoint as well. So in it would be covered the foul, bad, evil, indecency, obscene, committing excessive, which is forbidden,
Mm.
adultery, fornication would also come into that. So we have to be sure we're not going into all this immorality and not accepting it. Even talking bad language is becoming normal.
Yeah.
Swear words is becoming normal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's becoming normal in the younger generation to
Yeah.
use these swear words, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Yeah. And it brings down the whole standard of behavior and it affects the actions as well. It's not like, oh, I just said that word, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
Hmm?
Yes.
So we are saying that, our family members pick up values. We pick up values from each other. Even in this group, in the WhatsApp group, we can create a group of very high values, but we need to be saying things, that are positive and increasing the values. We can bring a change in our homes, in our groups, and we certainly can't live this life of speak no evil, hear no evil, say no evil, and just ignore it when it's happening, right?
Yeah.
So we look at, the emotional state. We spoke about this last time, but generally, if you look at stress and anxiety, boredom, loneliness, social isolation, sadness, depression, are these normal, true self states? We all get
No.
into them. We all get into them, right?
Mm.
We get into them. But
Mm.
we have, if you've got, most of you, I think some of you at least have gone through the courses of Know Yourself, and you will see that they are not true self states. Our
Mm.
fitra is not like that. They're false states. And the thing that is behind them is that the purpose, either there's no purpose, or enforced purpose, or a neglected purpose. And this again starts in the family. What are we doing to take away the purpose? We really need to cherish that purpose that Allah Ta'ala has blessed the child with and cultivate that so that they can serve on that purpose rather than enforce our own purposes on our children or not make them follow the purpose they want to do, right?
Mm.
Because they're never going to be happy. They're going to feel stressed, anxiety, loneliness, if we enforce the purposes there, right?
Mm.
So we are saying that to go from a broken world to a world that we care about, that we really feel that on Judgment Day, you and I can say we did something. We didn't just stand by and let it rot. We played our part. We will need to increase our awareness on areas. We will need to, get involved in our communities. We will need to get ourselves more educated so that we can bring about true solutions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, good.
Mm.
So we move on to, looking at this is how the world is. The self-interest. We are using people to get to where we want to be. This is most of the world is like getting to be like that. In fact, they are even proud about it. Even if you look at Trump making a deal with, for minerals, it's just, it's all about what can I get out of you? The whole political scene is deals being made for self-interest, right? And even in jobs and everything, how can I succeed? How can I win? It's at the cost of others. And this is what the society is becoming more and more. And what we are saying that let's not agree with it anymore. Let's not get into that agreement because on Judgment Day, you and I have to answer if we did that. So reflection on the ayats of Al-Kitab, self-reflection is an absolute must because the culture has imposed these values on us and we haven't even got a chance to see we have them inside of us somewhere. And there are 7 parts to this section, 7 sections to the training of Ramzan Challenge. Will you reap the benefits? So we got the first section is about fasting in Islam. Some of you have finished that. Fasting and control is the second one. Ramzan and understanding yourself. So those of you who have already done, control and know yourself part 2, you don't have to do the quizzes. You just go through the theory and do the little assignment at the end. So it's quite fast for those who have done earlier courses with us on Find Your Truth. And knowing Allah Ta'ala, embracing taqwa. Again, you've covered this in worship. It'll be fast for those who've done it. But I do suggest that in section 4 and 5, you read the theory wherever you are, because it's good to come back to that theory with having you have raised above where you were before. So the same things mean something more deeper to you when you look at those ayats and everything. They mean much more to you than they did when you looked at it the first time. And then we go into the inseparable bond between Ramzan and Quran, and a path to personal growth. We do cover shaitan, and we do cover how we go onto the wrong paths, and how do you make sure you're on the personal road. And of course, we go through the final days and the purpose of Eid and everything. So those are the 7 sections. You have to target yourself through them. I would advise that you try and do them, at least finish the course by the 3rd week of Ramzan, so that you have more time in the last week to pray and, be closer to Allah Ta'ala and gain that serenity and that spirituality that we all are seeking during this month. So this is just an idea of what a shallow person is. I'm just giving this here because we all fall into it sometime or the other. And we need to see whether we are there or not. So if we value appearances more, we judge people based on their appearances, that would come under the category of being a shallow person if we do that. And if we are doing it even on ourselves, how do I look? How do I appear? If that is our whole aim, it is a shallow person's trait. It's not the true self. It's not your true potential. It's not your true fitra to be like that. If you crave attention, that would also come under that. You want everybody to, give you attention. Then that kind of person also loves gossip, drama, and being in the spotlight. Materialistic viewpoints, again, would come under that. Care too much about trends. What kind of shoes are being worn or bags are being closed and all that. Self-centered, their own needs and feelings seem to be more important than anything else. Deep conversations are not possible. You can only talk at a very surface level. So again, in some areas, I might lack the knowledge. It's my job to get more knowledge in that area. Emotional depth is also, in a shallow person, you don't find that very much. And they therefore cannot empathize with other people. And meaningful collections are not made. It's only very superficial relationships. They're not true to themselves because they don't know themselves. And it's more into show off, and they're not a very good listener. So these are some of the negative side of things I'm showing, and each one of us has a little bit of here and there. And if we have it, we have to admit that we have it, and only when we admit we've had it, can we fix it, right? So that's why know yourself is very, very important in terms of understanding we have failings. We are all here with failings, and which we are trying to improve, trying to purify. We've covered this in our initial talk, that the journeys of moving from impurity to purity, and all these traits are impurity, and the idea is that we move towards purity. And whatever you focus on, whether it's good or bad, that is what you get in life. So let's focus on, the good things. In our first talk, we covered these questions looking at your day. You can use it even in Ramzan to look at your day and see whether you did these things or not. I'm not going to go through this again. And then we went on to say that we have to, we are looking for transformation in Ramzan. And it's very important to actually identify the transformation. Otherwise, it's not going to occur. So our next talk was about going further and actually seeing how we respond, whether it's right or not, and correcting ourselves. And we asked a few questions like, what do I like? Just getting to know yourself. So you're supposed to do this for homework. If you haven't done it, you can still do it in your little notebook. You will open the door on knowing yourself. So this next section is a few more questions you could ask yourself just to get to know yourself. Remember, the project in Ramzan is you. You are trying to get from impurity to purity. So find out about who you are. What makes me upset? What makes me happy? Yeah, answer that question to yourself in your diary. What makes me very happy? It's who. The first question is who, and the next one is what. What makes me very happy? What makes me very sad? What behavior or habits I like in myself? Yeah. There are some habits and behaviors we like. What behavior and habits I do not like in myself? We all answer these questions, right? Possible? Yeah, we can
Yes.
answer. What is the desired character I'm seeking? How would I like to be? How do I feel about myself? Do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel bad about yourself? Do you feel you're nothing? Do you feel very proud about yourself? You know, so it's good to know how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to know that. How do I want to feel about myself? Maybe you think you're not good enough and you want to feel good. Well, then out of that, other things will come out. Well, what is it that you don't like about yourself? And you can continue that journey. And of course, we have the practical workshop on handling all these areas that you want to improve on. And you write about what you like most about yourself. So we move on to what is the purpose for Ramzan for myself? That's a good question. As we said, this would be our homework. What is this? What is the purpose for Ramzan for myself? We also go into what bad habits. This is a good plan to make. It's a good plan to write up. What bad habits do I want to give up this Ramzan? What good habits do I want to make better this Ramzan? What good deeds do I want to do this Ramzan? Right? So would somebody like to share what is the purpose of Ramzan for this Ramzan for themselves? What would they like to do? What would be the purpose? What would they like to gain? Any ideas?
It will be a great success for me if I'll gain the definitive success for myself. The definition that is mentioned in glorious Quran. Qad aflaha man tazakka. The one who purifies himself
Yeah,
is the one who is succeed.
yeah. That's a very good purpose. I think we all
So
would.
that is
It's a nice purpose, to have that move away from the definitions of success that have been put in the culture for us to the true definition of success, moving from
and
it.
there are there are also some belief systems obviously that have been put in me due to the process of due to the socialization process through parents or through friends or family and through school system, and those belief systems are so internalized that it appears as if they might not be able to be replaced. But I think I have to change this belief system that I can't replace it. I can do it. This is the goal that I want to achieve.
Yeah, I think,
Change the belief.
the workshop that we conducted on overcoming self-limiting beliefs. And we covered the steps A to E that you can do to uproot any belief system that you have. So, it's not covered in detail in the Ramzan challenge, but once you've done the Ramzan challenge, you should go on to that course And then one by one, there's one-to-one help on that to uproot the belief system. So, everything is possible. Allah Ta'ala didn't send us here without the solutions. He knows we can do it, and only Shaitan thinks that we can't do it. We all have the potential to become pure, and that's the actual thing we are all aiming for. And inshallah, we will get very close to that, and we'll be helped by Allah Ta'ala immensely once we start even that journey. Doors open up and we have realization. Yeah, so please do answer these questions in your little diary, make a notebook for Ramzan, and then write down my targets for this Ramzan. What are they? Anybody wants to share what their targets are and why do they want to achieve this target? Yeah, that's good, Anusha. Sister Anusha, you want to, get deeper into the Quran, have a greater understanding of it, have more realizations, get greater guidance of what to do. But it's also a very good idea to actually, apart from, our worship goals and what we want to do, how much we want to do, yes, those should be written, but also these areas of bad habits, good habits, improving on them. These are very key. You will observe more. When you're fasting, did the thing on the food, and your perceptions are higher, better in Ramzan. So you notice things a lot more. And, whether even in family members, you may be able to help them, assist them. So keep that little diary going on, how you can be more useful.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I just made some goals, and in my goals, it was, already there. That's why I'm happy that I wrote those. Like I was in my goals, I wrote like I will work on at least 2 or 3 bad habits. I will think which like are inside of me, and I just keep doing it, not focusing that this is wrong in me. So just reflect on those habits and try to, avoid 2 or 3, because there are so many things. If we take a small thing and work on it, I think we can do better rather than just thinking, okay, I will leave all the bad habits. Just
Yes.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then the same way, like achieving some good habits, like which you are not already in me, but I might be thinking for a long time to achieve. So this Ramadan, if I focus on write down two good habits at least, which I should improve in myself, or try to do it throughout the Ramadan, inshallah, and be consistent. Sometimes we start something, but we just give up in the way. And the other goal was like give at least 15 to 20 minutes every day to reflect upon myself and my life. And also I want to have 4 or 5 duas, I want to write down for myself, for rest, for my life, which I want to consistently ask in whole Ramadan to inshallah ta'ala. And of course, when we keep asking something that make us motivate also to achieve those goals, those are actually goals, which we just do it as a form of dua, that I want to achieve those goals, and
Yeah.
then inshallah work on those. Yeah, these are a few things which are different than alhamdulillah, we all make the goals for reading Quran and all those things. These are some extra things, inshallah, I'm planning this year. And also to make my, iftar and suhoor kind of simple and healthy. That is
Yeah.
also the goal. So I don't want to spend too much time, thinking about, just making food and inshallah.
Yeah, that sounds very positive.
Yeah.
Positive, alhamdulillah.
And one more thing, yeah, sorry, which I was also actually listening somewhere also, and which is very, very important. Like, you say, when, okay, what are you preparing for Ramadan? If you ask anybody, they will give you a list of the, foods. Okay, I'm freezing this and making those. Usually, this is the first thing come out of us. But the most important thing when we enter the Ramadan is to purify your heart. Forgive everybody. If you have grudges against anyone, or you are upset with anyone, just be so strong, give them a call, and then just that is so important. Before you enter the Ramadan, you have to clean your heart with anyone. If you have any kind of um,
That's
yeah, yeah,
very, yeah, it's so important. Even, I mean, we covered that in the believer's definition.
yes,
There's no hatred, nothing.
yes,
You're
yes,
just
yes,
pure. You
yeah,
know, in that purity, you tend to invite,
yeah.
everything flows towards you that is good then when you stand in that purity state. So inshallah, we all, inshallah, will have a journey of greater purity and help each other. Anyone else wants to say? Sister Shazia Zaib's thing is very encouraging and inspiring. I'm sure all of us feel that we can do, we can learn from that and do similar. So anybody else would like to share?
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, Assalamu alaikum, Sister Fana. Nice to see you.
I think it's but yeah, subhanallah, yes, thinking about Ramadan, Ramadan goals. I think this is probably the first time where, I've been thinking about Ramadan goals before Ramadan. So that itself is that's itself a good, positive sign, I think. And subhanallah, so for Ramadan, I definitely, of course, we have the Quran with a deep understanding, not really racing just to complete it, but a deep understanding of the Quran, with the meanings and the translations. That is one goal. And then make notes, of what I learned. So if I, read Surah Al-Baqarah, then, I want to make notes this time, keep a book with me. And, if some things are explaining the psychological aspects, some are explaining what we should do in the community, so make notes of that. So I thought that will be a good for me. So that was one. And second thing, of course,
Share also, Sister Fana, in the group, everyone should share, what it just helps us all. It inspires us, doesn't it? If you
Yeah.
can. Please continue, Sister Fana.
Yeah. Then second thing, definitely, inspired by Sister Safia's, nutrition, so, eating more protein during, suhoor and during iftar, and, really cutting away maybe just once a week or something, more, snacks, which you still, like. So that's probably one thing. So diet. And yeah, I'm going to keep it track of the weight, and definitely losing weight is not the objective of Ramadan, but just to see how our my nutrition habits are. Just want to track that as well. So that's one. The second thing. Then third thing, the relationships. I have teens, so probably more dinner time together in Ramadan. That's the best part. It's a forced time for all of us to open the iftar together. So that definitely is going to be done, and more of course the mosque for the Tarawih and the Isha prayer. So these are some of some, I think, big ones. And then of course a couple of projects. We have one on one project where we're going to write up like a booklet for parents. And to myself, Sister Faida, we have so many educationists in our group and so many life coaches in our group. So want to get that book done this Ramadan as to good information for parents, basic information of the development of the brain and the best parenting techniques. So that is a little project for the month of Ramadan, inshallah. Yeah, I think that's kind of my plan.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Alhamdulillah. It's very good. Very inspiring.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah Ta'ala bless us all in all our efforts to purify ourselves. And, we look at this thing that, end of Ramzan is not the end, but a starting point for a new journey towards Jannah, because we've spiritually risen so much, physically, emotionally, intellectually. In all ways, we are, inshallah, going to open our growth through this month. And then a new journey starts after Ramzan, where we, inshallah, will have more strength to bring about change in the world and be a stronger ummah. I think everybody will be praying for that through Ramzan, that we need to see concrete changes and strength and bring goodness to the world and bring truth to the world through our spirituality. It feels like, people are suffering unnecessarily because they don't have the answers that we have. We're very blessed to have them. So inshallah, we'll do that. We can share the, you can share anything else you want to do. Sister Shazia, you can share the survey form if you like.
I've
You have shared it?
yes, I have shared already, ma'am.
Any questions? Is the Ramadan challenge a challenge to get through the training? Is it something that you will be able to do? I'll be checking the lessons at least twice a day, and please don't hesitate to ask me if you want something marked very quickly. I will do my best to do that. Yeah, any questions on that? We do need to move faster on it. We said by the third week, inshallah, all the sections. I'm still developing the last sections on it, but you can, it's all open for you to continue. You can fill in the survey form if you like. Any questions?
Please go ahead and keep sharing this, Ramadan workshop with friends and family as you do, they can, even get started in any time, So, please keep doing that, inshallah, throughout Ramadan. So people can, kids, friends, family, your WhatsApp groups, anywhere, inshallah.
Yeah.
And then your successes as well, what are you learning? What is the, so we want to hear that as well, inshallah.
Yeah. So major progress, the homework is that we go through these, the talks 1, 2, 3 are basically designed so that you start thinking bigger. You have so much potential. We have just thought ourselves limited. We are not limited at all. Allah Ta'ala has blessed us, and we have to start widening that sphere of thinking about ourselves, that we have the potential to do it. We have the potential to change things. So the talks are more about that and giving you the questions to open self-reflection. One of the questions that had come my way in the surveys was that does the self-reflection make us very self-centered? We're just thinking about ourselves. Well, basically, self-reflection, if you don't do it, then you're very self-centered. It's just the opposite, because by self-reflection, you're actually looking at yourself and finding out more about yourself, and you say, okay, this is a bit of impurity in myself. How can I change it? How can I make it better? So people around you also benefit a lot more if you purify yourself. I think I've said this before, even if you don't say anything, just your presence in the room, if there's one pure person in the room, it makes a huge difference to the atmosphere and environment, just to the flows. So even if we get to that stage where we are more pure, our heart is pure, our mind is pure, we are standing there in purity, it affects the environment, it affects people around us immensely. So inshallah, make major workshop progress through daily do that so that we can finish the Ramzan challenge by the third week of Ramzan. We will meet 2 weeks after Eid. It's an Eid Milan thing to share how things went. Were you, did you achieve your goals? Were you happy with it? and make the group active, our Ramzan group, please make it active so that, we'll post things in there, but you also respond. It just makes it more of a group if you're responding and posting things as well to help us through this journey of spirituality. Yeah,
Inshallah.
inshallah. Anything else anybody would like to say, or any help they want?